and we'll get to some other examples, mammals in the wild, or a dog during it. Do you have a dog?
I've had dogs, yes.
Okay. What do they do during a thunderstorm?
Some of them go hide or shake.
Shake. That's exactly what they're doing. When the body develops excess energy, it'll begin to shake it off when there's too much. Okay?
Right.
And that's, the fight or flight's been activated. You get all that energy. It's got to go somewhere if the body can't. Well, if you don't let that off, the body's going to hang on to that.
Right.
And that's just stress. With trauma, it's made even worse. Because what happens with trauma then is you have a psychological impact, and when it hits the place of overwhelm, then you enter what they call a state of freeze.
Right.
And everything shuts off. Your memories get fragmented. You know, depending on the situation, it can get pretty drastic. Okay?
Right.
So what TRE is a simple set of stretches and exercises to help your body remember to shake.
Okay.
Okay? Now, at any point that and you may encounter that trembling anytime we're going through these stretches and exercises. So let's say to begin with, you know, before we get started, how are you physically and how are you emotionally?
Physically, I have a slight cold, a sore throat, so I don't know if that's going to impact anything. Emotionally, I would say today I'm pretty good. Yesterday was good. About 2 days ago, I had some depression and anxiety.
Okay. Well, and I'll check in with you later. While you're doing these exercises, if you're because of the circumstances we have here, being you're in Pennsylvania and I'm here, if any emotional flooding comes up, any anxiety or any memories, I need you to tell me right away because I will show you how to stop that. We'll just shut it off. We can always pick this up at another time. The important thing is that's the beauty of TRE is once you've been trained in how to do this, you can do it by yourself. You don't have to experience emotional flooding. You don't have to experience anxiety, and you don't have to relive your trauma. All of that energy that the body wants to get rid of, it'll tremble it out, and you don't have to go there.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to make sure that you're in a place, so I'm aware. Now, do you have any physical surgeries, like in your ankles, your knees, your hips that I should know about? Anything that would stop you from basic movement?
No.
Okay. Anything else I should cover?
Well, injuries.
How about injuries?
No injuries.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's get to it then. Anything else?
I would ask how an inventory right now, a before and after kind of thing.
I did. I asked how she was emotionally and physically.
Well, okay.
All right, well, and afterwards, I just be aware of how you feel physically and emotionally, and then what we'll do at the end is we'll check in again. And see how see if there's any differences in how you feel. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So the first exercise we're going to do is most of them will be standing up, and then when we're done, we're going to lay down, and I'll show you some little exercises there, and then we'll be doing our trembling while we're laying on the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Carol, it's likely that you're going to have to move your computer several times throughout this, okay?
All right. So the first one is stand with your feet about shoulder width apart. And what will happen here is we're just going to roll, and it doesn't matter how you start. We're going to go back and forth about 10 times. And the way I do it, and it may differ from you, is I inhale and then I go up on the edges of my feet. So that one foot's in, one side's outside edge, one foot's inside edge. And I exhale, we go back the other way. And we go back and forth. Okay. Now when we get to 10, let's shake out our legs. Just give it a good vigorous shake, just to loosen it up. Both ankles. Okay, now the next move, you can use the wall, or there's two ways of doing this. Since you can see me, I've got my hand in a bookcase here, and then I'm going to put my foot behind my other leg. And then the idea with this move is to go up on your toes and then down, back down so your heel touches the ground. Okay? And on this one, we're not going to do 10. We're going to do, on a scale of 0 to 10, we want to reach 7 in terms of muscle exhaustion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So 0 to 10, we want to hit a 7. And now the alternative way of doing this, if you don't have space, is to just put one foot behind you as your balance, and then go up on your toes. So the balanced foot doesn't get much weight, and it's the same thing. We're going to do. So yeah, if the wall's better, go ahead and use the wall. It's a lot easier.
Up to about 7.
Yep, you do your one foot up to about 7, and then you switch and do that. Now, what you might find is that on the other ankle, it may not take as many times to exhaust it, or on the other calf, because what we're working here is our calf muscle.
Okay.
And then when you're done with that side, shake it out. And then do your other foot. When that one reaches a 7, shake that one out. Okay, and now we're going to work the thighs. So, I don't know if you want to be in front of the camera there.
No, I'm not meant to be.
So this one,
Oops.
and watch while I do this, because it's you. And if you have problems bending over, let me know, because there's a different way of doing this. We want our hands as close to our feet as we can get them, and then we pick up a foot. And the idea here is not to bend the knee, it's to, can you see my derriere?
Yeah.
You may not want to, but what we want to do is it's a motion of sitting down and then pushing it back up again, as opposed to bending the knee. The knee will bend a little bit, but we want to keep our knee from not going in front of our toes. So, and what this will do is this, you'll feel this in your hamstring, the back of your leg. So, and if you can't move very far, that's okay. That's the idea here, is just to get that stretch. And again, we're looking for the 7 on the exhaustion scale, and it may only take 3 or 4 times, and you're going to say, I can't even do that. And that's fine. And then when you're done, you shake that leg out. All right, shake that leg out. Then you go to the other side. And try to remember, make your move a little less pronounced and try to move your derriere up and down as if you were sitting. It's a little, there you go. Feel the difference?
Yes, I did. Yeah, big difference.
All right, shake those out. So on this next one, we want our feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And we want our knees to be soft the entire time. Excuse me, with a little bit of bend in them. So watch it. I'll show you first, then you can do it afterwards. We're going to do, it just bend, and if you can't bend, it looks like you can bend all the way to the ground, but if you can't, your knees are soft. I want you to take 3 deep breaths in this position. And then as soon as you're done doing that, you walk yourself over to this side, or any side. And when you're done with the 3 deep breaths here, you walk yourself over to here, the other side, and take 3 more deep breaths here. And then put your hands back as far behind you as you can, and take 3 deep breaths there. And if you feel any shaking in your legs or anything like that, that's okay. That's okay. So here, 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 and then behind you.
Okay.
Just remember to keep your knee. What's that?
What did you say, Carol?
3 deep breaths in each spot.
Yes. 3 deep breaths. And then keep your knees soft.
Repeat or just stop?
What's that?
Repeat or just stop? Just stop, Carol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Just the one time through. There.
Okay.
All right. So on this next one, it's going to involve, first thing we're going to do is we're going to push the pelvis forward, and your hands, depending on your back situation, your low back, you can put them on your lower back. Some people prefer them down here on their buttocks. It's whatever's comfortable for you and your particular body. And then, so we create the bow is what we're after here. And then we want to bend our knees a little bit. And what this is doing is it's stretching out the psoas muscle, and it's stretching out the abdomen, and a little bit down here in the groin. Now your head, some people can put their head all the way back. For me, that's uncomfortable, so I don't. And what we do is take 3 deep breaths here, and then turning the hips first, we look over a shoulder and take 3 deep breaths there. Then we come back the other way, turn the hips first, look over the shoulder, take 3 deep breaths, come back to here, and then we take 3 more here in the middle. And make your exhalations out through your mouth. And if you really, I mean, as you do this, you might find you're going to make noise when you do that. That's okay, because what you're stretching, I mean, that stretches the diaphragm out. This whole cavity area here really gets a workout when you're doing this.
Okay.
Okay? There you go. How you feeling?
That was a little more strenuous than the others.
What'd you say?
That was more strenuous than the others.
Yep. And oftentimes you might even feel that shaking in your abdomen area as you're doing that one. All right.
I definitely did.
Now the fun one, this wall sit, right? Yep. Okay. This is another one that's pretty simple, but it's strenuous. We're going for the 0 to 7 on the exhaustion scale. So you put your feet about shoulder width apart, and you need wall space for this. But basically, you're going to pretend you're sitting in a chair when you're really not. And you will feel immediately that pressure in the back of your legs. And that's working your whole upper leg to stretch that out. So, what happens is when you get to that 7 point, that exhaustion scale, what you do is you just inch yourself up the wall a couple inches, and that'll take the pressure off your legs, but we want to come back to that 7 again. And then, once you've done that, you can move yourself back up the wall again. Now, if you've got strong legs and you're athletic, I sometimes, because I work out a lot, I sometimes will leave myself here for 3 minutes before I even get to that level. And you might start noticing that your body wants to bounce. It might want to move up and down. Your legs might start wanting to quiver back and forth. That means you're releasing. That's the tremor that we're after. That's going to start happening. So, and that's perfectly normal for that to happen. That's not necessarily muscles exhausting. That's the tremoring mechanism being released.
Okay.
So if you're ready, go ahead.
Can you still see me? I had to move a little.
Yep. Well, a little bit. Can you twist the computer a little bit so that we can see you? Perfect.
Is that better?
Perfect.
Okay.
Our whole studio collapsed. Just a second, Carol.
Oh
Why should I do that?
Well, because you're pushing on the Zoom button. Hang on. You keep doing your work. We'll deal with our technical difficulties here. Okay, can you see? I think you're still zoomed in. Geez, I give you one little job to do.
Why are you giving me that job?
Because I needed to take a break, and because I'm kneeling and my feet are falling asleep. I need to move my body in a different way. In fact,
no. Should I repeat it again?
No, if you're once you've run out of wall, you're good to go.
Okay.
All right, as soon as so how does that make your legs feel?
I could probably have gone longer than 7.
Uh-huh.
Should I try it again to get where they start to shake a bit?
Yep, and you'll learn as you go on what it takes for your legs to do that.
Okay.
The guy who trained us told us that he leaves firefighters on the wall sometimes for 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
That's because our legs are strong, but we're horribly inflexible. Huh.
Definitely feel them start to tire.
Okay, well, if you're done with that, there's no shaking on this one.
Okay.
What do you mean there's no shaking?
What would shake? Your trunk?
You mean shake it out?
Yeah.
Or, oh, I see.
All
Yeah,
right.
you do. You can shake out the legs.
Oh, that's right. Let me shake the legs out. Okay, what's it? So a wall sit. Oh yeah. Should have done that. Okay, so now just go ahead and lean yourself forward, and you can put your hands on the ground if you want. This is just a forward bend.
Okay.
You can. I don't know if you do yoga or not, but cradling your arms underneath your head. And that should be good enough. All right, now shake your legs out. Now I'm going to show you a series of them, because this is the last one.
And we're going to need you to adjust the computer so we can see you on the floor, Carol. But for now, you can just watch Lecky on the floor, okay?
Okay.
All right.
There you go. So we start with our feet.
Okay.
Can you
I can't see all of them.
hang on a second? Let me move it. Ah!
You should put that phone in the tripod.
All right, there we go. Yeah.
Can you move it
All right.
down just a little? There we go. That's the other one. Good.
All right.
All right, so the first thing is the feet, the soles go together, and we keep them as close to our body as we can. All right? And it's, you'll find what pants are good for doing this in. So we just leave them there for about 30 seconds. And now what we're going to do is a bridge. We're going to lift our hips up off the ground. Just even, a couple inches is really all that's necessary, so it's just like this. And we'll stay here for a minute or two. And I don't know if you can see how my body is moving a little bit. It wants to sway. That's natural.
Okay.
Carol, are you doing it or are you just watching him?
I'm just watching, but I'm kind of practicing.
Okay. All right.
So after a couple minutes, you're done doing that. And now we move the feet out about 6 inches. And we'll stay here for another minute. And then after a couple minutes, we'll lift our knees up a couple inches. And we'll leave them there for a couple minutes. And then a couple more. And we'll leave them there for a couple minutes. And then our feet will go flat on the ground with our knees just a little bit wider than our feet are. Okay? So, and that should start you'll feel it in your legs. You're just going to feel an energy, and if your legs want to shake, that's what they're meant to do. You might feel it in your abdomen. It might be real subtle, and it might not. As you can tell, mine are moving just a little bit right now. Now, there's a couple other things I need you to know. If at any time, and this is where the flooding can happen and the anxiety, if you start to feel anything traumatic, straighten your legs out and lock your knees. And that'll stop the tremoring process. Just hold it there for a little while. And that will deactivate the tremoring process. And then as soon as we're done doing this last set of exercises, I'll have you tremor for 10 minutes, and we'll see what's achieved. And then if any time you get tired, you can always just put your knees will be up. Just put your feet together and put your knees down again. And then when you're ready, bring them back up. All right, and then when all is said and done, after the 10 minutes, I'll have you straighten your legs out, lock your knees for a little while, then we'll shake it out, and then I'm going to have you roll over on one side like this. And we'll stay there for about a minute, and then when you need to get up, you just take your hand and push yourself up, and then we'll talk. And we'll see how you're feeling. Okay?
You don't have to remember all that. We'll talk you through it.
I'll walk you through it.
So, Carol, I have to do a little camera switch up. So stand by for a second, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Let me know if you're able to see me.
Yes. Okay. Hang on one second. All right, I'm going to pause this.